legacy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air, when the chips are down and you throw a prayer, when your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control, and we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
About going to the Copper Bowl. It was a fine reward for a nice season to go and see Baylor there. What I'm talking about, though, is the visit to Ann Arbor several weeks before. I thought Trent Green and Von Dunbar put together a really great effort there against the mighty Wolverines. I know Desmond Howard and Elvis Gerbach had other ideas, but they didn't need to be assisted by the referees. That was really what was stuck in my craw. There was a PI on 3rd down to Desmond Howard, and it was clearly an uncatchable ball. Gerbach threw it into the stands, and yet the flag was on the field. We all saw it. We all have two eyes. I thought it was a ridiculous thing. Trent Green, who knew where he was going to go in the NFL, but as an Indiana Hoosier quarterback, that was about as good as I had seen up to that point. I'm not saying that he ultimately was more talented than Dave Schnell, his predecessor, at the position. Dave Schnell was very good himself for a few years there as Bill Mallory was building the program up. And those were some good times. I mean, 8-3-1 is nothing to turn your nose up at.
Let's go, Damashek. Get out of here.
Where did you go, Dan?
It's enough. You've just been talking to yourself all night. Everyone here.
Damashek, back here. Take 5.
Take 5. Is sleeping.
Sour pusses.
He's done 12 straight hours. I believe we violated an assortment of federal and labor crimes by making Damashek just work all night talking into the YouTube abyss. About Indiana football. I can't believe this sentence. Indiana football completing the greatest college football season ever played. Just crushing if you are Miami to lose at the end that way. About as close to a championship as you can get. Indiana played the game you needed them to play, and you couldn't win it anyway because you got a blocked punt and an assortment of small shit undercut you. But I do think that all of that is something that should be celebrated. Like, I'm not going to sit here and nitpick about a delay of game penalty or the kicker or messing up a decision in a game between two great teams, and one of them had to lose. I do wonder, and Carson Beck said that his ears were ringing at the end, that hit he took on 2nd and 15 that got a penalty, I don't think he was right after that, and I do think it needs to go into the math on he throws his first interception after that, the first turnover of the game, right? Mendoza didn't fumble at all this season, correct? He went the entire season without fumbling one time? Fumbling and losing it, lost fumble.
Yeah, lost fumble.
Crazy game, crazy night, but let me get your thoughts here as we go to a bunch of people who were at the game. Tony has said he's never forgiving Roy Bellamy.
What happened with Roy?
We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. But Tony was telling me before the show, I'm going to be on my deathbed, and I'm going to say, in 2026, Roy did that thing, and wherever it is the beyond, I'm never going to forgive him.
I can't, and I'm I love to forgive people. I can never forgive Roy.
Roy said at the beginning of that drive, Roy doesn't speak very much, and he said at the beginning of the drive, here comes an interception.
Oh boy!
Before the Canes even got the ball, might I add. Okay, before the Canes even get the kickoff, he said, "Here comes the Carson Beck interception," and I'm sitting at Dead Flamingo, a couple of miles away, shocked, flabbergasted that would even come out of his mouth, that he would even think that thought. Okay,
Well,
and then he said it.
Lucy thought that thought. Lucy.
Yeah, to be fair, I think everybody thought that thought.
Lucy,
I've seen this before.
Lucy
several
doesn't
times.
trust Carson Beck. What are your thoughts, Greg? Because I'm not going to sit here and criticize and be overly critical of the University of Miami for losing a game against the team that took on all comers this season and dismissed everybody. They took out everybody. Like Notre Dame's about the only one they didn't take out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any form of loss last night that wouldn't haunt and hurt Mario Cristobal forever. Like, he's never going to get over last night. But I think this one hurt even more because they, except for a couple of notable exceptions, they played Mendoza very well. He didn't alone beat
And
them.
Surratt. And Surratt.
And Surratt. But it wasn't just the interception toward the end of the game that crushed everything. It was the punt block touchdown they gave up. It was a missed makeable field goal. They could have won that game despite never leading in that game, and that's going to haunt Mario forever. But to your point, I give them enormous credit. This was a successful season. It was a watershed season. They make their first playoff. They win the Fiesta Bowl. They win the Cotton Bowl. There's just no situation on earth where I'm going to criticize Miami today more than I'm going to praise the season they had.
Indiana hadn't won a bowl game since the Copper Bowl in 1991. Hadn't won a bowl game of any kind. Zaslow, you were there. And to Lucy's point, Beck only has 6 losses. But the reason he has this reputation and the reason Roy said that and the reason Lucy feared it is because 4 of those losses, he's got a chance to win it in the end of the game and throws an interception. That's what happens. And so the latest one, obviously, the most crushing.
That was that last night was one of the best sporting experiences I've ever had in my life. I have nothing but praise for that Hurricanes football team. I think the Canes fan should be so proud. Like, short of winning the whole thing, this was an incredible season. It could not have gone any better. I couldn't have imagined a scenario where the Canes did not play their best game, did not play a perfect game, and would have a chance to win last night. They didn't play close to a great game, and they were right there in the end. I had such a great time. The Canes fans should be so proud. Like, just all heart and guts, that Canes team. And it's such a bitter finish for the Canes fan. I saw kids leaving the stadium last night crying, and I'm like, man, you should be just so proud of this team. It was a great night. I was so happy. And of course, the only regret, if you will, is so close. We were all so close to an all-time moment. And just so close.
Well, we got the all-time moment for Indiana. You see the stats.
Yeah.
This is going to be hard to explain to people who only see the box score when you say, hey, Mendoza had one of the greatest runs of all time, and the stat sheet says 7 rushes for -8 yards because that was the only time he used his legs in any meaningful way. Pat Coogan, the center for Indiana, said, best defensive line I've ever seen, and he says, we knew it going in, but holy shit, because I was surprised Indiana was able to run the ball as well as they did.
Yeah.
But I was also surprised that Miami didn't win a game in which Mendoza looked like that. Didn't look like the Heisman winner.
No,
but he made the Heisman play.
He did not only the 12-yard run, which was epic.
Balls called by Cignetti.
On 4th and 5, twice on that drive, 4th and 5.
He had 2 19-yard completions, one on 4th and 5, one on 3rd and long. Those 3 plays, those 2 completions and that run were why he won the Heisman Trophy.
That's what Mendoza did this season, though. If you look at the Iowa game, if you look at the Ohio State game, there were several stretches this year where he did not look that good. And so, but what was really the difference in this game and this entire season for Indiana is he was able better than anybody to take a game where he looked bad, and the second you needed him to do something remarkable, you knew he was going to do it. It was automatic.
It was one of the I'm sorry, Dan. It's one of the all-time great college football plays you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. He referred to Tebow as Mr. Tebow after the game. That was Tebow-esque. I want to bring in Mike here because...
Mike, did you watch the game last night?
I want to talk about the idea that Beck says after the game, his ears are ringing. You saw on 2nd and 15, he gets hit in the chest. It's called a roughing the passer. He hits the back of his head on the turf. And around here, we were asking, who's the backup? We were asking, is this going to come down to the backup? And then what he does on, I told you this earlier in the Netflix documentary on the Cowboys. Troy Aikman played an entire NFC championship game that he does not remember because of a concussion. And I want to ask you, how fair is the criticism of Beck when he's telling you after the game, my ears were ringing, and the decision he makes is to throw to Marion, who's got 1 catch for 6 yards and was fairly useless in the entire game, throws into double coverage when there's plenty of time, and that's not a good decision, and underthrows it.
Yeah, he got up wobbly. I think it's safe to question whether or not he was right. That's not how you beat the cover 2. It wasn't a good
But
throw.
it's safe to criticize.
I mean, yeah. Like there were 6 plays in that game that, Indiana, as advertised, they execute, and they made all those plays, and Miami didn't. The block punt, the missed field goal, which is 50 yards,
Well, the block punt, by the way, Tony, you can't field that at the 5, which of course leads to the block punt.
Malachi Tony can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
Like, we're good with him. Yeah, like, shut up. Bauman, just forget, not whiffing on a block. Like, what the hell was he doing? Like, you're punting out of your end zone. Like, that's one that honestly hurts the most. Those back shoulder throws and the RPOs had us in hell. Like, those are 1v1 plays. I will say, for all the Mendoza love, he did make the mistake. He did throw the pick 6. That was a tailor-made house call.
I don't remember that. When was that?
It bounced off of Ethan O'Connor's hands. It was at their 40-yard line. That was a house call. And we didn't make that play. And you got to make every play. Miami, I'm fully confident that Miami's best beats Indiana's best, and Miami just had procedurals, penalties, and
the missed
they didn't
tackles.
make the plays.
So many missed tackles.
Look, Mendoza is like a tough as nails kid too. Like they had us in hell with the RPOs, but he was being punished for them, and they stopped running it a little bit in that second half because of the punishment that he took. But one thing about Mendoza, I think he's going to be a really good pro. He's accurate. That's a pro throw that he dares you to stop, and you can't stop it. I think he's got pro wide receivers too, but he is tough, dude, because we were hitting him hard.
Very hard. Signetti said after the game, which put Signetti in on Mario's hate list forever, he said there were at least 2 roughing penalties that should have been called that weren't, and he pretty much said Miami played a little bit dirty on his quarterback.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
I mean, clearly early in the game, he catches one under the chin several beats after the ball is out of Mendoza's hands. It's unquestionable that the Miami defense was instructed, put a lick on this guy.
But in the parade of reasons why UM can be extra crestfallen by last night is that Miami outgained Indiana in total yards despite running 17 fewer plays. Miami's defense held Indiana to 4.5 yards per play, which is not much when you have the Heisman winner and that kind of a ground game. So Miami did not play a bad game. They just had 2 or 3 or 4 crucial things go against them.
The 4th and 5 calls is a combination of coach and quarterback coming together at the very top of the history of this sport to beat Miami because of what Signetti was calling in those situations. A radio guy for the Washington Huskies tweeted this: a 2-star quarterback scrambling for the national championship winning touchdown on 4th down in his hometown against his hometown team after winning the Heisman for the most losing program of all time, while his mother with multiple sclerosis screams for joy from her seat, is possibly the limit of how good sports can get. And it was amazing to watch those 2 teams, after a pretty dreadful first half, put on a second half that made half a game for all time. It made half a game for all time because of everything that was happening at the end. And you can't ask for more if you're Mario Cristobal than my highest paid player has the ball in his hands at the end, and we've got a chance to win the game because Indiana has finally done the dumb thing of giving the game away on 2nd and 1 with a false start when they don't do that. Like that team, do you know how ridiculous it is for that team not to lose fumbles? Like they don't make mistakes, and they sure as shit don't make dumb ones. And so a false start on 2nd and 1 when all they needed, we don't get the classic ending. We don't get the Beck interception. We get a bit of anticlimax because the Hoosiers ran for 9 yards on 1st and 10 when the Hurricanes knew they were going to run the ball to get 2nd and 1. And then they get the false start. And so Miami gets the gift of Cignetti in that spot saying, I'm going to kick the field goal on 4th down. I'm not going to go for it, even though Miami fans were terrified that he was going to go for it because he ends the game on a single play with the ball in the Heisman winner's hand.
And the other thing, too, 2 times where you're on 4th and 5, and it is a crucial moment. He calls timeouts that he probably should have saved for later in the game to, figure out, all right, boys, what do we got here? And it ends up being Mendoza to Becker. What's his name, Becker? In that play where you're like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? If you're not watching Indiana, you don't know this guy.
Indiana didn't know him 2 months ago. Indiana did not know who that was 2 months ago.
That's right. Surratt was injured. That required Becker to go in there. Bottom line is, you guys were Beck. We were Becker. That's all. The 4th and 5 run, iconic for all of time, obviously. But really look at it. As Fernando gets to roughly the line of scrimmage, he's lost at sea. He has to cut back across it looks like he's stuck. It looks like it was a bad play call, and he makes the play with his legs, with the cutback.
He's done that all year. This was Fernando Mendoza's game. This was why he won the Heisman this year. I honestly think Curt Cignetti did not have his best game. I thought he was kind of sloppy with his timeouts, just the management of it, play calling. All of it was this was not the Curt Cignetti that we've seen throughout the playoff, but it was really Fernando Mendoza who saved his ass.
You say this, but if you look at that stat line, that is one of the worst stat lines he's going to put up because he's not going to make the mistake of throwing interceptions. So if I told Mario Cristobal, look at the box score here. Look at Surratt and look at what it is that Mendoza does in this game. He says that's a win. That he would have taken that before the game if I'd offered it to him.
He threw the interception. We just didn't catch it.
But it's really not people kind of look at this. I think a lot of people have watched Indiana in the postseason and did not watch Indiana in the regular season. This was not a Heisman year where we were particularly blown away with how great Mendoza was. If you saw him against Alabama and Oregon, you would have been. He had several games like that this season where he did not do much, but in the moments where you needed him to be the best player on the field to win the game for you, he did that against Ohio State. He did that against Iowa. He did that against Penn State. That is why he won the Heisman. I didn't come in thinking that this would be Fernando Mendoza is better than everyone else on the field. He just is he's so pure college football. That's what he is, and you saw that yesterday.
Canes fans are mad at Carson Beck today?
I don't know whether – Canes fans are going to be mad because they lost, and the standard and the expectation is win all the time, make me feel good all the time. But I really think that the entirety of this season and that result is above criticism. I don't believe that losing to that team – that ends the best college football season there has ever been.
Best team.
Not the best team, but the best season there's ever been, and not the best team just because it's all 25-year-old guys who aren't draft picks.
I got to tell you, in terms of – I've seen a lot of good teams in person. Saban's Alabama, Clemson, that's as good a team as I've ever seen in person. They're just really good. I was stunned. I know Miami, especially in the second half, had some success at the line of scrimmage. I was really impressed. At pregame, I was looking at them damn, we're much bigger than these guys. How is this gonna play out? And everything that I've seen and heard about Indiana came true. They just execute. And the flabbergasting thing was that Mendoza threw that pick six, we dropped it, and that they had the false start on that second one, which I was like, what? How? At that point, you start thinking maybe we can do this because it was like a spaceship landed in the middle of the field.
You were 40 yards from doing it. You had 50 seconds, plenty of time to score the touchdown, and you got the result that you wanted where Indiana was gassed at the end. The last two drives, Miami being able to score quickly and up-tempo offense with wide-open receivers when Mike, I don't think there was a more surprising thing to me in an evening of surprises than the first three quarters. Every damn pass Beck threw was being touched by an Indiana defensive back.
Yeah, how were receivers never open?
He was throwing into tight windows accurately, and everybody was always covered in a way that I haven't seen all season.
Dude, 5'9" D'Angelo Pons is a friggin' sick player. I said, can we stop throwing at this guy? He was unreal. real. Refs let them play. I was good with that. Like, I like that type of game. They get there and they force the refs to think about it a little bit, but that's what they do. They execute. Their timing is exceptional. They're a really good, fantastic football team.
I think both things are true. I think you can say Miami might well have won that game if not for a turnover with 44 seconds left, but you can't take an iota away from a 16-0 team that had a plus 21 turnover ratio, the best in the nation. I mean, Indiana richly deserves the championship it's celebrating.
But when Mike says it was 6 plays, right? You got 2 plays on 4th and 5. You've got a blocked punt, and you've got a field goal hitting an upright. Those are the 4 for me that I'm like, okay, those are game swingers. I don't know if you want to put an extra
third down
point.
to Becker was crazy.
Yeah, that was insane.
like everybody in the building knew what was coming, including our corner, and it's just like, can you stop this?
Yeah.
Becker's unbelievable. I don't know. That guy just like became Jordy Nelson or Alec Pierce or any other wide receiver you can think of.
Did anyone see a replay of the deep pass that they said hit the ground?
Hit the ground like hell.
Yeah, it obviously hit the ground.
It did.
Marion,
For like 6 yards.
The Marion, it obviously
really?
hit the
Okay.
ground. So let's play here the sound last night. A bit of a stunner. Mike, you were not here. Zaslow, I want an etiquette ruling here from everybody in the room because Tony says he will simply never will ever forgive Roy Bellamy for this. This is before Miami gets the football with no timeouts and less than 2 minutes left in the game. Here's Roy Bellamy out of nowhere. He's very, very careful about when he uses his words. All of us were confused when this came out of his mouth.
Interception.
Like that kid with a false start.
Bills fan.
Interception's coming. He'll never let it go. Ever.
Did Roy just whisper an interception's coming up?
That
Yeah,
was
but that's how it usually
That was
works,
the way
man.
he screamed
Why
it.
did you do that?
Because
that's
Dan
how it
already
usually
did
works,
the
Dan.
reverse
Because
jinx
it
on
sounds-
it sounds so right. I hate it, Billy Corbin.
No timeouts, length of the field. It is a lot of time, but that last drive that Miami had was it went against everything else that was happening in the game. All of a sudden, you had receivers running open down the field. Like
At least we have a lot of timeouts.
Hey, I can't have that.
What's up, guys?
Go ahead, Tony. What do you got?
Why would Roy say that? Why on earth
Exactly.
would Roy say that?
I don't know. It's evil.
Why
No,
would
he's
Roy
doing
say
the
that?
reverse jinx
It's
I think-
borderline evil.
No, that's no. Okay, listen. You guys are a little bit ahead of us. I'm taking out my headphones. You guys can put me in picture to see what happens on a delay. I'm sick right now. I don't even want to talk. I'm done. This is a big drive. This is a big drive. This is a big drive.
Is
This
it?
a big
Okay.
drive. This is a big drive.
Put it on
Good
the poll.
analysis. It
Put
was-
it on
it
the
was a big
poll.
drive.
You were right.
Juju.
It was a big
Is it
drive.
good
Nailed
analysis
it.
that Tony just said this is a big drive?
He ain't
Spot
wrong.
on.
2 minutes
Wrong.
national
Never
championship.
forget Roy saying that there was going to be an interception by Carson Beck on this drive. You haven't said that much during this live stream. What an odd thing for you to choose to say.
I forgot already. Thank you for reminding me.
Miami will not forget, Roy.
Mike will never forgive you if it's
It's called reverse psychology, man. Jeez.
Come on,
Carson.
Come on, Carson. 15 seconds on the play clock. 14, 13.
Oh! Oh!
no.
There it is!
Oh, my God.
See?
Oh, victory lap
Indiana
too. Did a
Hoosiers are
victory
the
lap.
national champions of college football.
Of all the things to say. Of all the things to say.
I know.
You say that.
I know.
You say that. You say that. You say that.
What's the crowd like, Tony?
It's
Look at Roy. Gone, too.
All right. Good work over there, guys.
This is brutal.
I came in here today and muttering under his breath in the eating area.
Wow.
Lewis is saying, I'm quoting here, in the crucible of life, I don't ever want Roy with me. And I asked him, like, why are we in a crucible? And then he starts yelling at me, last night was a crucible.
Last night was a crucible, Dan. Last night was literally the crucible of life, and we're all in the foxhole together, okay? There's ammunition raining down. Roy says, I'm out of here. He starts running the opposite way. The rest of us are going forward. He's going backwards. Can you imagine? We're all there together, and he's going the opposite way. Roy, where are you going? As bullets rain down,
we were
Dan.
charging up a hill with bayonets, and we looked behind us, and
And
Roy's
he's hauling
running
ass.
in the other direction.
He's hauling ass with a mess hall.
But you'll survive the foxhole if somebody in there says 30 seconds prior to the bombs dropping, we should get out of here. Something bad's about to happen. I think Roy's
That's not
to
the
be
point. That's
praised.
why we had
He's a
Zaz, boots on the
seer.
ground. Zaz was giving us the updates 30 seconds ahead, which I liked because it was going well. And then he does that. Dan, the one thing you can't do is say the I word when you got a final drive for your life. Okay, this was for if you ask Mario, if you ask the guys in that locker room, that was a drive for your life.
Well, Mendoza said after the game, I would die for my team.
Yeah, he did.
That was something.
If you looked at his right arm, it was.
That's a raspberry. That's a play on.
It was damaged.
Damaged.
We were playing a game back here. How many members of your family would you be willing to kill off to not suffer the indignity of last night again? My dad's dead.
Well, your dad played the bongos in here. He was playing the bongos after Indiana touchdowns. He was doing so with delight. I see that the troll doesn't fall far from the tree. He was really I've never seen him so radiant.
like straight up. Like, no respect for that guy.
Roy joins us now from remote, and when I say from remote, he's in hiding. He's in the federal witness protection program.
At the mess hall, Dan. The rest of us are in the foxhole still.
He is not welcome around Crucibles or welcome back in Miami right now, given what it is that he did.
It was a wild thing to just casually say while you're sipping your coffee.
Roy, muttering under his breath. I could see the ripples on his coffee of the hatred being caused coming out of his nose and mouth as he talked about not wanting Roy at the Crucible of Life to be with him.
Dark morning, Lewis is just like casually spitting out Morrissey lyrics like as he's sipping his coffee.
Roy joins us now. Roy, do you have an explanation? Have you given it some thought? Do you regret your decision, or are you just happy that you got the prediction right?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say hello, Lucy. I miss you. Second of all, don't blame me for this loss. If you want to blame anybody, you can blame the kicker for missing the kicking the ball off the upright. You can blame.
I'll leave Carter Davis out of this.
50 yards, bro. You do it
for having his
I've
punt
done it.
blocked. You can blame the DBs for dropping interceptions, and you can blame Carson Beck for that interception.
And what happened just before that?
A person said words.
A person said words on a live stream, and words carry weight, Roy. You know that. More than anybody, you know that. And I love you, but I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive you. I'll go be at my deathbed. You may be dead. I may be dead first. It doesn't matter. I'll be on my deathbed, and I'll never forgive you for that.
Roy, you know about those words carrying weight?
Yes, I do.
Okay?
I don't
so you knew
speak
that.
many of them.
Exactly right, which is why it means more. Okay? That you said what you said.
The SEC.
Before we even got the ball. Before we even got the ball, you said, here's an interception. You didn't say it once. You said it twice so people could hear you because it went underneath the radar, and then you said it again.
Tony, it was the most logical conclusion to this game. Of course he was going to get intercepted.
No,
come
absolutely
on, man.
not.
You knew it was going to happen.
No, the most logical thing was he's going to have another incredible drive. Malachi Tony's going to make a play, and they're going to score with 6 seconds left and win the damn game.
That's not how the world works, Tony. Sorry. Got disappointed.
How can I forgive him, Dan?
You're not sorry. You don't have to forgive him. I don't blame you for not forgiving him.
I need a T-shirt that says I stand with Roy. I love the idea of superstition so much, sports superstition. I think it must have started with not talking about a no-hitter in the 5th inning and on. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world, and with all due respect to all of the intelligent people in here who actually believe in superstition but can never explain why, I stand with Roy.
We're going to get to an off-Roden with Lucy Rodine in just a second, but I understand that you guys had some press box experiences worth recounting.
We saw somebody get tackled by 5 security guards who was posing to be media. One, he was wearing a Miami jersey, so that kind of gave it
I
away.
saw those two guys walking through the
did
lunchroom
you
right
see
after you
him?
came and said hello to me. Yes.
No, it happened way later.
No,
in
but
the
I
game.
saw
No,
those guys.
And he had was it the guy with the white jersey?
No,
because he didn't have a press pass. So I was in the aux press box because I'm not a big time gal. They didn't let me in the main one.
All right.
Which was better because I got to see
Cody,
this.
were you in the main press box? Did they honor the legendary columnist?
I was in the main press box, but the times have changed, Dan. I know you're not in press boxes much anymore, but the traditional media has been shunted into the shadows. We were the Miami Herald and other big local outlets were in the number 5 press box, which is not the main press box. Here's the thing. Wow. The main press box now is given over to, self-help podcasters and TikTok influencers and pit bulls, astrologists. I mean, the Miami Herald is in the end zone, okay? We were lucky. Dave Hyde's made to work out of a janitor's closet. An open bottle of Fabuloso spills on his podcast right on deadline. I mean, times are tough.
Podcast?
Times are tough. I meant his laptop.
It spilled all over his podcast.
That too.
2.5 hours sleep.
Thank you.
So what happened? There was a fight?
We've got Cody on
Okay.
2.5
Thank
hours
you,
sleep.
Zaz.
Thank you,
So-
Zaslow.
First of all, quit your yapping. I was in the stands. They basically put me in the stands. I was in a Miami section.
Okay.
But this guy, he's in the media area with the camera. He clearly does not have a credential, and he's wearing a Miami jersey. And somebody
Dead giveaway.
Yeah, somebody reported him, I guess. I wasn't me because I didn't see him. And the security went to bring him down, and then he was like, no, like, I have a ticket. I'm supposed to be here. And they were like, you don't have a credential, though. This is, like, media. And he starts screaming at this cop who was a woman. And I was like, whoa, I do not like the vibe of this. And he kept yelling at her, don't touch me, don't touch me. She was not touching him. I was right there. I saw the whole thing. And then he starts yelling at her, and he's, like, getting in her face. And then the other cop comes up, and he's like, he's like, she keeps touching me. And he was like, I can see that she's not touching you. We're all watching her not touch you. And he was like, I'll touch you. Like, I'll touch you. And so then he put on his, like, little meta glasses because I think he was going to try to film it. And he was like, fine, I'll show you my ticket. And the lady was like, no, I've been asking you for like 10 minutes to show me your ticket. And then he was like, no, I'm not leaving. So they had to pick him up by his arms and carry him out. And then he started fighting. And then they all tackled him to the ground. And he didn't make it to the second half, which honestly probably worked out for him.
That's a bummer. That's a bummer that he doesn't get to watch the second half.
He missed a good second half.
It was
epic.
It was really cool. I felt like I got the most like uniquely like Miami in their home stadium playoff experience.
We've got Diana Rossini coming up later in the show, Charles Barkley as well, but let's together go off-roading.
Yeah, hello, I'm with Channel 6 News, not really, but I'm here to inform you that IU is going to stomp Miami tonight. Go Hoosiers!
Dan, it took the Miami Hurricanes playing in the national championship game for me to finally go to a game at Hard Rock. And as you can see, it went well.
Watching Dan talk about the different types of Cubans, right? And how we are the types of Cubans that will eat your face off, all right? And we're hoping that they take Mendoza and they eat his face off tonight.
I've been a season ticket fan since I was 17. I'm 58 now. So this is huge for me. I've been waiting for this since 2001. Go Canes! How much bad football do you think you've sat through in your lifetime as Indiana fans?
Well, for me, it would be 46 to 50 years, somewhere in there.
It's been a lot of mediocre football, I'll say. You weren't there with us 2 years ago. You don't understand the pain that I watched when we went 4 OTs with Akron.
You could find a ticket on the ground at the tailgate, at the tailgate, and get in for free.
Did you ever in your life think you would see Indiana football compete for a national championship?
Never in my life, no. As of a year ago, not a chance. But at the beginning of this year, and as of a week ago, a bunch of us were in Atlanta. Truly the greatest day of my life. And I have a wife, I have children. Maybe we cut that. Let's cut that one, actually.
You have the most unique outfit on I've seen all day. What is this fit for?
Well, rooting for both Indiana and for Miami because I have a 4-month-old grandson born in Miami and a 2-week-old grandson born in Bloomington, Indiana.
Wow, okay, so this really is a house divided. Is there a side you're leaning to more?
No. How can I pick among my favorite grandkids?
My grandparents have been able to do that pretty easy with me. Your grandson has never known Indiana to be a bad football team.
Oh, good point.
The earrings, the necklaces. My women are ready for the game today. Best outfits I've seen the whole day. Can we explain them and how we put them together?
Okay, we went military style because we're here. We're going to war. It's do or die. The Hurricanes are going to get it done, and we're going to claim the victory.
You've got the best hat, helmet, contraption I've seen all day. Can you explain to our viewers what you got going on here?
Hi, so we have the Miami Cuban theme going on. It's a funnel. You pour your cafecito or your vodka.
Is there a world where I could see one of these in action? Is anybody willing to take a drink?
Oh, one more row over. There's already someone in action with it.
Eddie was here right now, what would you say to him?
Thank God. Thank God you came to save us.
Changed all of our lives. He put Indiana on the map.
What he's been able to build has been incredible, especially in the 2 years. And so
I'd say I hope you stay until you want to retire, never go anywhere else.
Let's build you a statue and just please never, ever, 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 ever leave.
Will you guys build Mario Cristobal a statue if he wins this game?
No doubt. I mean, we got concrete in the truck. We're going to be forming it up after the game.
Have Indiana fans, have they been nice?
Very nice. They've been extremely nice. Yeah.
I gave one of them a slider earlier, gave them some Cubans, some sauces. They've been great.
Have you been nice to them?
Yes. For now.
I don't believe you. Have Miami fans been nice?
Haven't seen too many.
Had police officers making fun of us earlier this morning. They were like over the loudspeaker in their car. We were getting chirped. So Miami fans are so kind. They're so nice. They would never say anything rude to us.
Have a good game. Enjoy your trip.
Good luck, guys. Good luck. Good luck. Have a great day. Good luck.
Other than that, they've been not nice.
This trip was brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. The crown is yours.
Love Dan Le Batard.
I love the Dan Le Batard Show. I didn't realize this is what it was right now.
I don't look like Dan Le Batard. Thank God.
This is what born and raised Miami looks like.
We deserve to be here. A lot of people counted us out. We kept the faith. We knew we belonged here, and here we are. We're going to claim the victory. We're in our hometown, and we're going to get it done. Go Hurricanes!
We got some Canes over here. Whoosh, whoosh, hoo, 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 Hoosiers!
Despite what my behavior shows, I am sad for the Miami fans in the office. I can empathize what it's like to watch your favorite team lose a national championship game. I've been there twice. But I just wanted to say, this is why I love college football, because you get stories like Indiana, the greatest turnaround from any team ever, from the losingest Power 4 team in college football to the national champions. This sport is awesome. What a great season. I started to cry at the end because I'm so grateful I get to do this. Thank you for another wonderful year. I'll see you. Well, I'm going to be on the show today, so after this.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I actually don't think there's been a proper reckoning because everything's been moving so fast. Y'all should be embarrassed.
They're physically superior, and the last two games have fooled America.
Take a lesson from very recent history. Y'all have been saying the same thing for 3 weeks. It's the exact same thing I've heard about the 4 picks against Louisville and the SMU game going into College Station. I heard the exact same thing going into the Cotton Bowl. They better clean it up if they want to play Indiana. Okay, all right. Anybody at all in media want to say, hey, I'm done doubting this team. Spot the ball, let's see what's going to happen.
Their worst game was Louisville because he threw 4 interceptions and he wouldn't stop throwing deep. That quarterback looked like this quarterback to you. What world am I living in where Miami at home is a touchdown underdog against Indiana? Like what? I don't care about your NIL money. It's still Indiana. There is not a thing in the sport that stands up to what they have on the offensive and defensive line.
I think they're going to maul them on the lines. I really do.
I just think, maybe I'm owed an apology.
By?
Everyone. I think I'm entitled to one.
You think I owe you an apology?
Yes.
I stand by all of that. Great season.
beat Florida, beat Florida State, beat Notre Dame, beat Ohio State, proved Texas A&M, proved a lot of the haters wrong, like ran into one of the greatest seasons of all time and had an opportunity to win the game at the end. Like, I know we do this thing where everyone just dunks on the team that lost, but this was a great season for Miami, and I think one thing is very evident is this coach takes his lessons from his adversity, and Miami's going to be around for a long time, and that pisses everyone the fuck off.
What's the big takeaway more globally as we go forward? All the complaints over the last 6-8 weeks about the structure of the 12-team tournament. I think the committee ultimately got it right, except for, and I wonder how different the tournament goes, if you replace Alabama, who had no business being there, as it turns out, with Notre Dame. I do think ultimately it's pretty interesting. How are we supposed to assess college football teams going forward? Because I traditionally said, well, you have 2 losses. If you're the you don't control any claim to being in the tournament. You lost 2 games along the way. You may or may not sneak in. I wonder what that means.
There are 12 playoff teams and 6 that could actually win the championship. Like, there were all sorts of teams in the playoff that can't and shouldn't be in a playoff to win a championship.
I just don't like talking about that sport with this certainty because a lot of people shared that opinion, and Miami wasn't in that group of 6 teams.
But James Madison, Tulane, Alabama, Oklahoma, those are not teams that could have won the championship.
I get it. I hope that this postseason, its legacy is like this Big Ten SEC bullshit comes to an end because like Notre Dame.
Not Big Ten.
I'm sorry. Like I took out Ohio State along the way and was right there with Indiana, and everyone said this was a team that lost to SMU. You know, like I think that a lot of that stuff is bogus. We were touting it all season long, and I just hope we don't repeat the same mistakes when there's a situation like Oklahoma and Alabama reputationally just getting in. And I think Notre Dame probably the conversation was just so driven by Notre Dame versus Miami that Notre Dame was asleep at the wheel and didn't get to like propagandize their own case against those lesser teams.
Look, we have had 2 years of this expanded playoff. We do not have a big enough sample size for them to keep adding teams. Like, I watched all the bowl games, and there was not a set of teams that I was like, yeah, I really wish I got to see them in the college football playoff. I never thought we should go to 12. I thought we should go to 6 or 8, but 12.
Like, how many more? How many more would you add? I mean, obviously you can't make.
I don't want to add.
No, but I'm
anymore.
saying like how many teams?
They want 16, 24, and it's
That's
my
crazy.
conference who's campaigning for that.
Right. That's not what I'm saying. Like, how many teams didn't get a shot at the playoff that you think like should have been a playoff team?
It would have been Notre Dame.
That's
I'm
it, like
hoping,
one.
So I know like the sort of Big Ten SEC conversation. Everyone is having it. They're talking about it a lot, but I do think it's important in the sense that the SEC got so many teams in the playoff, and the SEC, all their great teams that were all these wins that made it so Alabama got in, lost in their bowl games to teams that shouldn't have been that good. Tennessee lost to Illinois. Mizzou lost to Virginia. Both Tennessee and Mizzou did not have a win over a team with a record above 500. So I do think it's important to have these conversations of like, hey, is this conference really as good as you think it is? Because Greg Sankey is the most active hand in college football. And if he's out here trying to convince you that 7 teams belong in the college football playoff from the SEC, and you can look at the SEC sample size in front of you and see, you know what? Iowa outplayed Vanderbilt that entire game. Yeah, maybe this isn't the best conference in college football, and next year we can avoid an Alabama or an Oklahoma getting in over a Notre Dame team that was much better than both of them.
I think we can all agree the best 2 teams in college football played last night. Right, like we have a lot of the times in these playoffs where you look at a team and you're like, TCU probably shouldn't have been there, or like Washington a couple years ago was okay, but like they kind of got run out of the building. These 2 teams deserve to be there, the 2 best teams in college football.
I think the only other team that you would make a case would be Ole Miss, and Miami beat them.
Yeah. I'd make a case for Ohio State, and Notre Dame can watch what happened and be like, oh my God, how close were we to winning the championship? We're as good as anybody.
Texas A&M too.
My concern is replacing the James Madisons and Tulanes with elites protecting elites. I think that's where it's going to track is ultimately you see that James Madison took up a slot that we should have had. We're Notre Dame. Right Alabama, right Miami. That is my concern as a man of the people.
I believe James Madison played Oregon better than Texas Tech did. So
I believe James Madison won a national championship last night.
The issue with Tulane and James Madison both being in the college football playoff doesn't really have that much to do with the college football playoff. It has more to do with the way that the ACC structured their, because like Miami played in the national championship last night, but they were not ACC champs. That was the Duke Blue Devils, which is just a little bit funny. And so like that was more an ACC problem, which should get fixed. Obviously they're doing like weird. Some teams have 8 conference games, some teams have 9 conference games. We'll just let them figure it out on their own. Let's give them a year just to like get it together, go to college football rehab, and just like collectively decide. But the group of 5 argument, which I know is an argument that's also been had a lot, that Indiana team was made out of so many group of 5 transfers.
Yeah.
So like James Madison literally did play Oregon closer than Texas Tech did. So like that is not the issue. It is simply just the way that the ACC structured their championship game, which made everything go crazy.
Anybody else have a problem with what's in the news cycle, which is like the Big Ten and SEC can't come to an agreement about how the college football playoff expansion would go? Like, wait, they're in charge? They're like, okay.
They
like,
literally are.
They kind of are.
They legit are.
Right, but Miami runs through a whole lot of them, and we're just like waiting for those other conferences to tell us like what this is going to look like going forward.
I mean, this Big Ten wants 24 teams. That is such bullshit.
It's crazy. Like,
come on.
All right, like I guess like you want to put more teams in the tournament. I guess
that's when the regular season will officially be watered down.
We'll see. I think that a way to mitigate that would be like get rid of these bowl games like as part of the playoff. Like have home field matter in the postseason, and then you can start arguing that the regular season matters again. But I'm a little uneasy with the SEC and their dying reputation still calling the shots.
All right, we've got Diana Rossini here waiting patiently for us. She's the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. She's the host of the Scoop City podcast. I don't believe that ever in my lifetime I have seen a Miami Dolphin head coaching hire dwarfed by a football game. You've got the Dolphins getting Jeff Hafley. I cannot confidently comment on this beyond being bored by it. Last 8 coaches the Dolphins have hired don't have any head coaching experience. If I was going defensive coach, I would have gone Chris Shula. Diana, welcome. What are your thoughts here? This is just the Green Bay guy hiring the Green Bay guy, correct?
No, it's not, because I thought the same thing as well when this started, and I got word that Miami was really all in on Jeff Hafley pretty early after that first interview with him. And that wasn't because the GM's doing a hard sell job behind the scenes. He apparently really blew away everyone that's been part of this head coach search. So with that in mind, Hafley interviewed at other jobs as well. And it was pretty overwhelming how much feedback I received on how good he was in a room, how good he was even on Zoom, which is really hard to do, I think. And it's almost every opening had interest in him. And when you talk to people in Green Bay about him, and you talk to players, it's all this like ability to lead, ability to connect. He's good at calling defenses. And all right, let's put that to the side. That's part of this. And then there's just this other thing going on right now with all these head coaching openings. And there's a lot of openings and really not a lot of superstars in terms of these coaches. So I think what you're seeing now is coaches that are at least showing that potential to live up to some of those big name guys that we're seeing right now. Because owners are sitting back and they're watching the playoffs, right? And they're seeing Ben Johnson do what he does. He saw Liam Cohen do a fantastic first-year job. Kyle Shanahan, I don't know what that was, but he was able to figure it out and get them this far. And, of course, Mike Vrabel in New England. And I think they think that maybe one of these guys has it. And I think that's how we got here. But I actually think it's a good thing, Dan, that the GM has an understanding of who this head coach is. Because with that ability to understand what he can bring, at least you have some confidence. Because sometimes you just don't know. I've had owners tell me it's one of the hardest things to do is find the right head coach based on just what he says in a meeting. Because some of these guys are exceptional at presenting and selling and showing their leaders. But what happens when things go wrong? What happens when the Bears are picking apart your defense in the second quarter and the self-inflicted wounds are mounting? What was Jeff Hafley doing on the sideline? And obviously this GM thinks what he was doing was enough for him to be the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Cody, what are your thoughts here? Because being good on Zoom has, to me, next to nothing to do with winning football. And also all these guys are kind of salesmen in disguise.
Right. Diana, I am curious. The Dolphins' last hire with previous NFL head coaching experience was Dave Wannstedt in 2000, who also was the last Dolphins head coach to win a postseason game. Now they're hiring a guy whose Green Bay team didn't have a particularly good season on defense and epically caved in the fourth quarter against the Bears to be eliminated. What about Jeff Hafley is so good? What about it? What about him makes you optimistic that the Dolphins maybe have hit a home run this time?
Yeah, so I think for Miami during the search process, which Troy Aikman, as we know, has had a very big hand in all of this, they've really been looking for a personality that's going to instantly set a culture and hold players accountable. I think that was some of the problems that were rubbing people the wrong way in the previous regime, right? Like you obviously see Mike McDaniel now doing the tour, and he is getting a lot of opportunities. I can tell you that. Like every team wants Mike right now. But putting that aside, for Miami, some of those things were not working for Steve Ross. And he believes that Hafley here is going to be the guy that the players are going to respect immediately. He's a first-time head coach. We obviously saw him at Boston College. He's been in the NFL before. But I will say, like, all I can go by myself as a reporter is just what everyone around him is telling me. And it's really hard to find anyone take shots at him, especially now at a time where it's so competitive. Everyone's so nasty. Everyone's gossiping about everybody because everyone wants the edge. But all the feedback I got on him is just he's going to be able to start this thing from day one, no questions asked.
Hey there, Diana. Curious about how confident, what percentage you would put on the chances that the Steelers actually would trade Mike Tomlin. They control him, obviously, through the next year. But, I mean, if you're Buffalo or Cleveland even, wouldn't you at least kick the tires and check the likelihood of that happening? The possibility?
Yeah, no, for sure. There's definitely some back channeling going on right now in terms of those conversations. But the word in the league right now is Mike. Mike needs a break. Like it was never even about Pittsburgh. It was needing to just step aside and just be away from it. I always tell a story that every time I see Mike Tomlin, the first thing he says to me every time, I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, I'm tired. And like, if that's how you're leading conversations with people you haven't seen in like 6 months, you're probably tired.
Yeah, Mike
By the way,
need a break.
we're talking about these Zooms. What is with your shots today? Why do I look weird? What's going on there?
You don't look weird. You look lovely.
No, I don't think I look. Maybe you know what it is. I was up until 2:30 last night because the Tennessee Titans made a hire at 11:30 because everyone loves to hire at weird hours. Just collecting information. So this is probably me just being tired. So yeah, Tennessee. By the way, that's an interesting one. You hire Robert Saleh in hopes of what Miami just did, right? That you're bringing in the culture guy, you're bringing the man of the people, the leader. And they did it without an offensive coordinator in place. Yet you've got the #1 overall pick at quarterback here, who obviously needs coaching, and he needs the right offensive mind around him. And they hired Saleh without that. Like, that's something. I don't know where he'll land, right? Because you've got a bunch of OCs out there right now. You've got Brian Daboll, who's meeting with the Philadelphia Eagles at this moment. You've got Arthur Smith, who was just in Pittsburgh, who's available. Perhaps maybe some 49ers guy. You got Clay Kubiak.
Mike McDaniel.
You got Mike McDaniel, but Mike's getting some other opportunity. He could get a head coaching job in all this. You got Tampa all over Mike McDaniel right now. So
I'd hire him if I were Buffalo.
Okay, Buffalo's a whole nother thing, which we're working on now, because they were in meetings all day yesterday. While I can tell you ownership and even some of those decision makers in the front office had a sense that if they weren't going to win this game against the Broncos, that they were going to make moves. Like, that wasn't the biggest surprise. I didn't really get a sense that they had a plan in terms of who was going to replace Sean, because they're obviously late, right? Because here we are, what is it? January 20th, Tuesday. Most teams are deep in these second visits with these head coaches. So they've got a lot of work to do. Yet that is the most coveted job right now. Like, if you're Kevin Stefanski, aren't you sitting there and like, why didn't I just wait? Like, why didn't someone tell me this? Because I would have loved to coach Josh Allen.
Well, Diana, how does McDermott get fired, but Brandon Beane gets promoted?
It's the best narrative in football right now. You should hear head coaches talking about this. It's like, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's relationships that are built. I don't know if there's just trust from what a general manager brings in terms of knowledge that supersedes a head coach. But there's something about general managers that just lasts longer. Look at Chris Greer in Miami, right? Like, every head coach will point this out. There's something about that position where you're just given more wiggle room. And sometimes it's as simple as just you spend more time with the owner. I don't know a lot of head coaches that hang out with the owner, that are on the phone with him or her a lot. Most are just grinding, coaching, dealing with the players, dealing with all that. So I think that's a benefit. You get a personal relationship, and some real personal, where they become almost family. Look at New York, right? The Giants seemed like they were related to Joe Schoen at some points, and they're not. And now Joe Schoen appears safe, right? As he's going to become as he remains the general manager with John Harbaugh, again, formally introduced today as the head coach. Dan, you have not interrupted me once. And I just want to say thank you. This is lovely.
Wow. Robert Saleh and Liam Cohen twice a year.
Duval. Now we're talking, Dan. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Rob Saleh, fine defensive coordinator. If there was a front office that you trusted a little bit more, maybe you can make sense of this. I think everyone's a little puzzled by the hire given what they need on offense, and they have the number 1 overall pick. How does Chad Brinker look at himself in the mirror? This guy is so bad at his job. All you need to do is look at the New England Patriots. This is an organization, for those that don't know, Rand Carthon was a former GM of Tennessee. He brought in Chad Brinker. They fired Rand Carthon. They promoted Chad Brinker. They've been a disaster. I don't know what kind of fairy dust this guy has over the organization, but Mike Vrabel was fired by these front office people. Mike Vrabel in 1 year has shown you he was never the issue. What is this reputation that they have over there in Tennessee around the league? This is a puzzling hire to me.
Well, first of all, you missed probably the most important piece of the timeline, which it was good. But remember when John Robinson, the general manager who was with Mike Vrabel, was fired, they went through a general manager search, and Vrabel was asked his opinion about these candidates. And when he met Rand, he liked him a lot. He just didn't think he was ready for the GM job. He recommended assistant general manager. And the owner said, no, I like him. And the reason why she said that is because she didn't want Mike to have ultimate power, right? And that is always a worry for some owners. They want to make sure they've got a balance. And Rand was not ready. I think that's pretty obvious. And Chad Brinker was then brought in to fix the fact that he showed in a very short period of time, he was not ready. And then they completely went the other way and fired Mike Vrabel because in their mind, the ego of him, and that's them, not the reality, I believe, was going to hurt the franchise. And now here they are, and they're back in the business of trying to find identity, find culture. And I get the Robert Saleh draw, but I mean, I don't even know if you could call it a diet Mike Vrabel. Like I don't even know if it's a Mike Vrabel light. It's got some good characteristics. Saleh is a leader. He's energetic. He loves this game. But if they were trying to look for something like Mike without the ego, they didn't get that either. So yeah, I think this is an organization that is really trying to lean into Mike Bergonzi and hope that he brings something here. And there seems to be a lot of belief and confidence. Because Mike, remember too, Matt Nagy had the inside track on this. Yesterday, I wrote a piece already that Nagy had the job. Like this thing was moving. And then Saleh walked in and he blew the doors off in the interview. And he's got great presence. And I get why Robert Saleh probably won that room over.
I hate that so much. I hate it so much.
I know, but
Jason Taylor vibes.
Everybody relax. It's Chad Brinker's doors that he's blowing down.
Okay, no, Dan, I want to ask you this because I did have a head coach ask me this the other day. I swear. He's like, how important do you think it is that I look really good in the interview? Like, do you think I do the suit? Like, obviously you get the haircut, whatever. He's like, do you think that matters? I said, yes, this is business. Of course, if you are looking polished, walking into a room with a female owner, right? For this example, let's say, like, absolutely look your best. Like, who's going to hire a slob? So I know we joke.
The Kansas City Chiefs. And Bob Kraft.
It's crazy that Tom Moore asked you your opinion on the matter.
Andy Reid and Bill Belichick slob up the interview. Neither one of them's great on Zoom. Like, I really do think this stuff of killing the interview is just a grand stupidity from people who don't know what leadership actually requires.
Dan, hold on a second. There was that one time where Cliff Kingsbury was in that modern house on draft day, and we were like, that guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but he gets it.
Sala is pretty handsome.
Exactly. Like that I think that's part of this. And look, Salah's a big dude. Like he has a plan. He does. Like, he wanted this job badly. And while I'm sure, Jed York and Kyle Shanahan probably hated the fact that Salah was, I'm sure, prepping a lot for this interview while they're in the playoffs. I think that for him, look, a year ago he got fired. We were writing pieces about how he lost the team and all the cultural issues they had in New York. So now he's got a second shot here. But we could probably have another conversation too. Did he pick the right place for him to have this rebirth, to get back in the game? I don't know. Is this good ownership? He just went from Woody Johnson. So, we'll see how this plays. But right now we still got the Pittsburgh Steelers looking for a head coach, the Cleveland Browns, the Buffalo Bills, the Las Vegas Raiders. You guys obviously saw Tom Brady there last night and that whole force, and the Arizona Cardinals.
Greg Cody on 2.5 hours sleep just stifled a burp in order to get you this question.
I did? Did I?
Brad.
Excuse you.
Wow, yeah, seriously. Diana, I want to detour from coaching for a second. So Bo Nix is suddenly erased. It's your team, Jarrett Stidham. Can Denver, with that defense, still beat the Patriots and have a chance to win the Super Bowl?
Yes. No, let me answer AFC first. Yes, I think there is no human being on this planet more insane than Sean Payton in these situations. I don't look, he wants Bo Nix out there, but it's not like this building fell apart once Bo Nix went down and they don't think they can win. I remember this summer, they were telling me about Stidham, and I remembered his days obviously in New England, and I'm like, what? Like, oh, I'm glad that you like him, but whatever, And New England, if you guys I don't know if you recall, but during free agency, New England was trying to get Jarrett Stidham back to New England. So there was like a little bit of a war going back and forth in negotiations to try to get him, and Stidham picked Denver. So I do think a little bit of, I love this matchup from even just starting at the top here. You've got two head coaches who are lunatics when it comes to tapping into what their team needs and what motivates them. So I think if anything, this works in the favor of Denver. They're looking at this as we're going to have to overcome this, and that's how they like it. And look at Sean Payton's history. Look at the times when Drew Brees wasn't in, when he was in New Orleans. Teddy Bruschi, right? I think Sean won almost every single game with backup quarterbacks. Taysom Hill, another one. He knows how to prepare them. And I do believe he does a good job of making sure that everyone steps up, knowing that Jarrett Stidham doesn't have a lot of experience as a starter. And in an AFC championship game against a hungry Patriots team that has a vibe about them. I was with them on Sunday night. That's kind of like, holy crap, we're here. Why not? Let's just go for it all.
You're underestimating that when you say he doesn't have a lot of experience. It's 4 starts, none of them in the last 748 days. She's the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. She's the host of the Scoop City podcast. Always a delight. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for being on with us.
Thanks, guys.
So getting back to the topic du jour, I will try to soothe some Hurricane fans here and Malachi Tony as well.
Malachi.
by putting up a photo of Malachi Tony being consoled by Ed Reed in a giant baseball cap. Who popularized this? This was several
Brian
years
Robinson,
ago.
B-Rob.
Yeah, several years ago this was popularized, and I haven't seen them since. They sold for a while, these giant hats, and Ed Reed is trying to bring it back, but I literally haven't seen one of these hats in about 3 years.
They're still popular, but the best part about traveling to these things is a lot of people will go to the game and wear them, but they're too big to fit in their luggage. So you will see people in the airport with those hats on, like sitting on their plane with those hats on.
I legitimately haven't seen one in several years. I laughed out loud when I saw that Ed Reed was wearing one during the ESPN interview with Clinton Portis, where I'm like, God, there was somebody who was selling them who was making a lot of money with the copyright of them. I don't remember who it was because you just mentioned. Is that the origin? Is that ground zero on it?
I remember us seeing him be like, this is a really, really huge hat. Why does Brian Robinson have this?
It's so stupid looking.
It's a baseball cap that's what would we say, 10 times the size, 5 times the size
No,
of a
more.
normal
It's like
baseball
25
cap?
times the
It's
size.
probably like
Huge.
600 times.
It's enormous.
No, it's not.
We should get Zaz one, dude.
600 times is a hot air balloon. You're wearing a hot air balloon on your
Yeah,
head.
I love how he probably had it on forward at one point, but for this big speech, he's like, you know what? This is
Because he's got to get closer to him. The problem is the brim is so big that
This
he can't
is a
get close
serious
enough to
moment.
him with the brim.
I'm gonna flip the ridiculous hat around and have a real talk.
Let me see again. Let me see Malachi Tony walking down the tunnel here. Malachi Tony was great in that second half, and he did have to flip it backwards, and it looks
the
all
brim is like
ridiculous.
6 feet long.
Still got the sticker
across the way from the hall. You can't even talk to him.
You can't have a serious conversation with anybody wearing that hat. I'm sorry.
All right, I can't get Mike to laugh today. There will be getting no Mike laughter today. Mike, how did you sleep? Greg Cody comes in complaining 2.5 hours of sleep. That night, right, I'm assuming you turn off all your televisions. You're not consuming any of the coverage, right?
I'm not really watching anything. I wanted to hang out with my friends, my Hurricanes friends. Like, we went out a little bit afterwards. And
You watched the Heat?
I honestly, like, the last thing that I saw before I went to sleep was a news item that Jimmy Butler tore his ACL. So, not a lost night. But
oh no!
Oh, what? You're
What
not
are you
super,
doing?
oh,
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm super pumped about it.
What about the Bob fight? You had to have seen that.
Oh, I saw
was fun.
I saw a video of the Bob fight.
Yes.
Yeah, that sucks about Jimmy Butler. Who could have thought that his body would wear down? Yeah, I'm not really consuming it. I was trying to put on a brave face and be the energy guy, and that's usually not my forte when I have a devastating loss. But it was very evident that I was faking it because when I came home, it all came out. And yeah, dude, I spend all my free time, all my free money, all my free effort on trying to get to where Indiana got last night, and it was devastating, and I cried, and I'm really sad about it, and I hope to never feel that pain again.
You cried when? Upon the interception?
I got home. No, I mean, I did, like, sit in my chair. I was rocked. I couldn't get up. Next thing I know, there was confetti everywhere, and, it was brutal. I shook it off. There were some Canes fans on the way out doing Canes chants, and, this was a great season. You got to keep in mind, like, this was like a 3.5 month thing of, like, trying to prove that we were worthy.
You proved it.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to tell myself. And we went through some teams that I properly hate. But yeah, you were that close. Like, we allowed a punt block on when Indiana's in punt safe coverage. Like, what the fuck, man? Like,
Austin Rules kicker. That's why.
God damn it! We were right there, and I care about the Miami Hurricanes athletic program more than I care about anything that isn't related to me. And yeah, it really sucked. I cannot really articulate how painful that was. And it sucks when you finish second, you feel like a big time loser because the eyes of the world are on you and everyone's teeing off on you, making fun of you, and you're trying to have the right perspective and that you had a good season. The vision is working. All your time and effort is working. I had a lot of people while I was like crestfallen in my seat, not really knowing where I was at the time, thanking me for hey, thanks for fighting for us. Thanks for what you're doing for the program. And that did, like, soften the blow. But, yeah, man, I am fucking wrecked inside. I want to die.
Oh.
Do you think this will make it feel any better, seeing your father do this? 5 yards. They just went down the field. And here is Mike Ryan's dad to celebrate the touchdown that he celebrated prematurely before with the Broncos.
One more time. Mike Ryan is going to be mad.
Mike Ryan might murder him. And you for letting it happen. Can't wait to call him Junior.
Mike, what is second place for you on most devastating loss of your life? Because what you're describing, I imagine there's a gulf between getting home and crying and whatever finishes second place here, because to be that close is the part that's crushing, right? You lose to Ole Miss and it doesn't feel quite the way this does. You lose to Ohio State, it doesn't. There's very little that can feel quite this way. Maybe you're at the 1 yard line and you fumble or something, but it's about as close as you can be.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that's close is Battle Court Spring Final 2024, losing to the Robote Renegades.
Yeah, memorable.
What about your favorite pro football team signing Deshaun Watson on purpose?
That honestly, Dave, great shout. Great shout. Like, in terms of like my soul left my body, like who am I? What is my personality? You're absolutely right. The acquisition of Deshaun Watson did end a chapter in my life. That is absolutely the second most painful loss in my life, and also the Fiesta Bowl because we got cheated out of number 6.
I've gotten to the point in my life where, as a sports fan, yes, the winning is obviously the most important thing, but I want the moments. Like, really everything about my life moving forward is like, I just want moments. I want individual moments that make me feel good. And that's the part for me that is the toughest to swallow last night. It's not that they lost, but you're envisioning it that, oh my God, like they have a real chance to score here at the end of the game, and it will be a forever moment. That's the part for me that's the toughest to swallow. Not just that they lost, but we would have had that moment, that feeling for the rest of our life.
Yeah,
I didn't. So close.
I don't know. I didn't think the universe would afford me that kind of happiness and joy. Did you? See
I thought they were going to do it.
The dude that actually pulled down the interception is Glenn Sharp's nephew. Glenn Sharp was a corner that was on Chris Gamble in the Fiesta Bowl when Terry Porter threw that flag.
Wow. Who cares about anything? Sports is stupid. Like, why do we even
Sports
do
are
this
dumb.
shit? Like, why are we like
Sports
like
are
what?
dumb.
What?
But also, they're
Mike,
the
you said it
best.
yesterday.
They're
yes.
the best.
No,
They're the
but
best.
sports are stupid. You said it yesterday. The universe died 1 trillion years ago. We're living in its echo. Like, who cares? Who cares about anything? We're all gonna die, and I'm gonna be on my deathbed, MF and Roy.
I care big. I love big, and when it happens, and it will happen, it's going to be the greatest day of my sports fandom. I know we're gonna figure this out, and we're gonna get there. And I mean, how can you not feel great about this head coach and the trajectory of the program? I feel like this is the start of something. I'm not going to put all the business out there. Mark Fletcher, who made news because he swung on.
Yeah, what happened there? That kid must have said something, right?
Anybody that knows Jeremy, you know Mark Fletcher from his time in high school. Mark Fletcher is as high character and individual as you will meet in college athletics. And moments before that, he was being super classy with Fernando Mendoza. They had a nice moment on the field.
I was wondering which of those came first. Because I was imagining him having an altercation, and then like a minute later, like the most genuine, nice.
Yeah.
Good game, man. Respect.
If Mark Fletcher is swinging on you, you're the problem, because that is like not who Mark Fletcher is. If you did something like super disrespectful to Mark Fletcher.
Talk shit, get hit. You know about that, Dan?
Talk to him. With the you down warranted.
But maybe someone will put it out there, maybe some of those teammates. But Mark Fletcher, I got word of like the speech that he delivered to the team after that loss. Mark Fletcher is coming back next season. I told you the story after Middle Tennessee State. Mario Cristobal took like a couple of boosters, and for whatever reason I was there. I had no business being there. And he said a couple of names, and Reuben Bain and Mark Fletcher were guys that would turn this program around. And he's going to finish that story. And I hope it's in Las Vegas next year. Mark Fletcher is a great guy. I know a lot of people are decontextualizing what happened. It's an ugly moment, obviously swinging on somebody. But that guy is as high character an individual, and he's a reason this season turned around.
That video, that moment, and that uniform will camouflage for the country how high character an individual he is, and we will be accused of all manner of bias for just simply knowing a little more about him than you do. When Mike says it's the start of something at Miami, he's not wrong, but it's the start of something more at Indiana because they have a momentum now in the portal that's even better than Miami's, and they have a stability now. That night wins 1,000 recruiting wars. Obviously, you have to get money as well, but Indiana's no longer a doormat. This is the hard part, getting to here and the momentum of here. They will do nothing but build on this.
Agree with that, but like I said to you last night, Dan, and I think that listening to Zaz and to Mike and to pretty much everybody in here, it would have, sorry to paraphrase SEC, it would have meant more, I feel like, for Miami fans than as much as it has meant, obviously, to IU lovers.
You're 100% right.
There was, as I kept saying, there was no downside. If you lose, there was no precedent either way. Okay, so we had the Heisman winner. We went into this thing undefeated. We beat Oregon twice. We beat Alabama.
Fans don't spend
beat
like
Ohio State. I mean, for real, the vibes would have been very similar if you removed this reality. If they would have gone, 9-3 and won the Rose Bowl, you would have thought, a once in a lifetime thing for the Hoosiers fans. But you guys have the downside, and I really do. As much as nationally I kept saying, and I kind of stand by it, Dan touches on the fact that the U has maybe a negative rep, but largely I think that Football America looked at IU as having just beaten the Soviet Union in the 1980 Olympics and now just had to finish it by beating the Finns, and the U was the Finns. That was not supposed to be the challenge that it ended up being. But for you guys, clearly, for how you perceive yourselves as now a blue blood, it is striking to me. I don't think the nation senses it as much as you guys are feeling it.
Well, Cristobal volunteered after the game that, and rightly so, that there's absolutely no guarantee that just because they were great this year and reached the final, that's a given next year. And reflecting that, the immediate championship odds for next season are out already, and I was a little surprised to see Miami as low as tied for 10th in the betting odds, and that all depends on how they score in the portal with a new quarterback. So I think the U is back, but there's no guarantee that they're going to maintain this level just because they got there this year.
Dave, would you give your championship to Mike Ryan right now?
I give him well wishes for 2026.
ELS favorite Brad Williams.
Now, Dan, imagine what you just experienced being a 6-foot whatever man. Now put that in a 4-foot man as I'm trying to cross the street last night, looking at certain puddles going, this could be it. This could be where I go because the water was moving very fast. I forgot my floaties. I can't swim. I have a very large head that sinks. I have a very fat butt that floats. That's not good for swimming. I'm very nervous. Florida is not a good climate for me.
He instantly goes upside down.
I do. I turn into a fly girl in a club, just face down, ass up. Like, that's me. Instantly in a puddle. Here lies Brad, killed by puddle. That could happen.
Brad Williams makes me laugh all the time, but rarely as much as when he's greeting Mike Golick and they are doing that shoulder handshake, and Mike Golick has to get down and Brad Williams has to climb up. Why didn't you just go in for a straight handshake to say hello?
Because then I nut tap him. Because if I go straight handshake, there's the possibility. And by the way, how much Gojo, were you just holding back? You're like, if I go full shoulder into this guy, he may evaporate into Skittles.
I was more thinking on if I went to pull in, because we went the dap with the hug.
Yeah.
And so there's that pull in the middle, and I was like, are we going to airlift Brad right now? Is this going to end up being like a swinging situation?
Did you go football mentality, low man wins, I'm not going to let this guy beat me.
That is true. I thought about just getting all the way down.
You got down pretty low. I thought you were going to throw out your back.
I was Jason Kelsey tush push status, trying to get down on all fours there. It was good.
And now I'm realizing that I missed my calling as an O lineman.
God, could you
low
imagine
man wins.
the Brad Williams-led tush push? Unstoppable.
Well, not only was it funny because visually that was funny, you were also interrupting a story of Brad Williams kicking a one-legged man out of his last show. That's the story that you interrupted.
I did. I did. There is no love lost between people who share parking in the handicapped space. He was gone. Get out of my show, sir.
Now, did you know he was one-legged before you kicked him out?
I did not. I did not.
So when he gets up.
I was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and where all the one-legged people hang out.
Miami's playing a home game for the championship. Do you people have no sense of history of what that means? Miami wins that game, always. You've never seen this. This is Revenga. How in holy hell am I living in a universe where the world has made Miami an overwhelming underdog to win a home game in Miami?
I understand why people are gassing Indiana up. They've been incredible. That stat where Mendoza has 8 touchdowns and 5 incompletions.
And the cheating part, right?
I'm not going there, but Miami's prepared.
Here's the play, Indiana. Cheat this. Revenga right behind.
Por el medio.
Right. Hey, people.
Revenga por el medio, dale.
Yes, I've heard that. Le Batard whimpering. Run outside, right outside. No. Revenga right up the middle. It's going to be 2nd and 3 all game. Dan's going to complain about the tush push over here, but he's going to love it when those Canes get 8 yards because their offensive line is just throwing Fletcher 8 yards.
I was right about everything. There are 2 teams in this game. They're going to spot the ball, and Mass is going to kick ass.
Yeah. We've got a very skinny Charles Barkley there. He's half the man that he used to be. He loves himself some hockey. You guys want to show some footage again of Bobrovsky and the goalie fight from last night? Because a couple of times Charles has come down here to watch the Panthers win a championship, and I did not know that our friend had such an interest in hockey. Welcome, Charles. It's been too long since I've seen you.
Hey, man, you never called me and asked me to come on the show. You know I'll come on the show anytime you want me to.
Well, I appreciate that. But when you were in Miami for those Stanley Cup finals, you did not come anywhere near where I was when I was looking for you.
Because they play out in down. Is it Sunrise?
Yeah, it's the Everglades.
Okay. Hey, let me tell you something, man. That was so good last night. I didn't see the hockey fight till after the football game. I love that, Dan. And that, people ask me why I love hockey so much. I say, yo, man, they have a code of honor. You never have to worry about guys out here doing load management. They just want to win the Stanley Cup. Hey, who are you kissing back there?
That's Jorge Sedano is consoling.
I
Barkley.
Jorge Sedano. I don't call him Jorge because I'm not bilingual.
What's up, Chuck?
What's up, brother? Hey, man, that was a hell of a game last night.
I know. I was there, man. It was a great game. It was tough at the end for the folks down here, though. But yeah,
you had a great year. Can I say you have a great year?
Yes.
Because you know why? Because I don't want all these punk ass reporters and clowns talking bad about me, like they did that lady in Jacksonville who had a moment of humanity. Think about that, Dan. Jacksonville had a great year. They won 4 games last year, and we got so many punks on television and on radio now. Because I don't get into the social media stuff, Dan. I don't do social media. But I started looking, and it was a big story brewing. I'm like, is this woman serious? She's supposed to be a journalist? Have we got to the point now where you just have to be an idiot or a fool or a jackass to be on television or podcast or something now? You can't have I can't tell the Hurricanes they had a great season.
You can, but I'm curious though how this is going over at ESPN that you continue to call people who work there punks, idiots, fools, and jackasses.
Well, they can fire me. Hey, Dan, I got 7 years left on my contract.
And you said you were retiring.
I am. So listen, Dan, I'm 100% retired. But if I can do something just a little bit stupid, so they have to fire me, they'll have to pay me for the whole 7 years.
That'll be fun to watch. Watch Chuck and the Inside the NBA crew as part of NBA Saturday primetime on ABC this Saturday, January 24th. The Knicks were booed at home. Were you often or ever booed at home?
Dan, I played in Philadelphia. you know, I tell people, and I don't mean any disrespect to any other fan base, Boston, New York, and Philly, they are different fan bases. They're going to hold you to a high standard. I flicked over to check on that game last night because I was trying to watch the football game, but I wanted to see the Pistons against the Celtics. And then I saw that, wow, they're down 30 at halftime. This is not going to be good. I really didn't know anything about the booing until I was watching SportsCenter later. But damn, if you're down 30 at halftime, which there's never excuse to be down 30 at halftime at home, you deserve to get booed.
How has the season been so far for you and the switch over, Chuck? You guys aren't on as much as I would like to see you because I can't get enough of that show. But you've also said several times, like, they're not going to work me to death. I'm not going to allow it at this age. So how's the transition been for you?
It's been great. Dan, we've complained. We've only been on ESPN, I think, 4 times in 3 months. We did like the first 2 weeks. We were off all of December to Christmas, and we're off until all of January until the 24th. I don't like that at all. What I was talking about working all the time, because I love watching basketball. I'm not going to do all these damn shows. That's the part. I'm not going to be on ESPN 1, 2, 3, Deportes, Nacho, Echo, whatever they call it. I'm not going to be doing all that. But I wish that we had been on more during the first half of the season. But I just checked the schedule. I think we're on Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So they're going to start making up some of the days. But I wish in December, we only worked one day in December, Dan. That was Christmas Day. And we're only working one day in January, basically, and that's the 24th, and I think maybe whatever next Wednesday is. But I wish we had worked more so far, because it's been great. The guys at ESPN have been great. They've been great. But like I say, we'll know more after we get schedule heavy the last half of the season.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Are you presently watching ESPN Nacho Echo? Durant has moved past Dirk Nowitzki, 6th on the all-time scoring list. Where do you put him among all-time greats? I thought Chris Whittingham had a great point when he just said this version of Durant with all of the changing of teams and everything, that the way he chose to do it is the worst possible way that he could have done it for his legacy. If you'd given him all the options, the way that he chose to bounce around, this is the worst version of his career that there could have been in terms of legacy impacting, given that he's one of the greatest scorers ever.
Well, I 100% agree with him, because the reason he hadn't been close to being successful. I mean, we had him here in Phoenix. I mean, he lost in the first round in Jersey. And first of all, every basketball person knows this, Dan. You don't go to New York and play for the Nets. You go to New York and play for the damn Knicks. Come on, man. I mean, that's basketball 101. when people say he's going to New York, I'm like, whoa, this is going to be great. He's going to the Knicks. He went to the Nets. That's the first strike. Then he goes to Phoenix, and he loses in the first round 2 years in a row. And now he goes to Houston, and my Phoenix Suns got a better record without him. That's a damning indictment. The Phoenix Suns have the same record basically as the Houston Rockets. Shout out to the coaching staff, Matt Ishbia, the owner, Devin Booker. And let me tell you something. Dylan Brooks, he reminds me of Draymond, Dennis Rodman. Now, they're going to drive you crazy sometimes.
You didn't mind being a villain?
I did not being a villain. I'm talking about a guy who's going to go over the line. I'm talking about a guy you have to have on your team to be successful. You can have all the great players. I've always said this. You can have all the great players you want, but you got to have a crazy person that sets the tone for the team. And let me tell you, what Dylan Brooks is doing for my Phoenix Suns is incredible. Dude, we weren't even supposed to make the play-in game. And now we're having one of our best seasons. So shout out to Dylan Brooks, Devin Booker, and those guys. They're doing a hell of a job.
Do you have a precedent? Can you think of a precedent like the one with Ja Morant, where you've got a guy being advertised as the face of the league, and now you can get him in the discount bin?
That's a great question, but he's in a discount bin because of his own actions, Dan. We as players, we are the stupidest people. When I mean that, I don't mean stupid. I mean, like, it's never our fault. The reason Ja Morant is in a discount aisle, the same reason Trae Young was in a discount aisle, they're self-inflicted wounds. Yeah, you don't think the Atlanta Hawks wanted to build around Trae Young for 15 years? You don't think the Memphis Grizzlies want to have Ja Morant on their team forever? But it's self-inflicted wounds, because now you got to make business decisions, because these guys make so much money now. You can't pay a guy $60, $70, $80 million and we're going to be mediocre. But all the wounds were self-inflicted. Ja Morant, everything he's did to put himself in a discount aisle is because of his own actions, plain and simple.
Charles, the All-Star Game starters were announced last night, and for the first time, LeBron did not get the votes to be an All-Star starter. So the only way he makes the game now, the coaches have to vote him in. Is it possible the coaches don't vote LeBron an All-Star?
Well, let me say this. I think Adam Silver, who I love and respect, made a huge mistake. Listen, man, quit screwing around with the All-Star game. Make it international against the U.S. All this, you play a team, and all this other stuff. I've been saying for 10 years, the international team against the United States team would be a perfect scenario. The reason they don't want to do it, because the international team would kick our ass. That's exactly why they won't do it. I mean, probably the top 4 or 5 players in the NBA today are international players. But it would be great. We don't have to win. It's kind of like the Olympics. I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if the United States didn't win. I think it'd be actually a boom. If another country won, I think it'd be a boom for basketball if another country won. But I think the All-Star game is screwed up. We need to go international against American. Number one, LeBron didn't deserve to make the All-Star team. But let me say this. I think he's close to the end. I think we need to find a way to get him in there. Because let's be honest, it's probably his last All-Star game. But he didn't deserve to make the team. He's not playing like an All-Star. But if this is his last year, I think we need to find a way to get him in the game. I think, I think Adam Silver should go to LeBron and say, hey, man, is this your last year? And then if it is, like, we need to make sure your last year, you're in the All-Star game. Because he's done so much for the game. I told you, he's the 3rd best player I've ever seen play behind Michael and Kobe. He's never really gotten into trouble. I admire him. I respect him. But listen, man, if this is his last year, I hope that they find a way to get him in the game.
Are championships the measurement there for you, Charles? Because when you put those three guys in that class, I want to put Jokic there. I want to say that Jokic is among the best players that there have ever been in the sport, but the sport is changing so much that I feel like I'm going to say that about Wembanyama in a couple of years.
Well, Dan, first of all, you're 100% correct. Jokic, now, these three, in my opinion, are outliers. But, Dan, you're not going to tell me you think, first of all, Joker's the best player in the world today. You're going to tell me he's been Wilt, Bill Russell, Kareem, Shaq, Hakeem. I said it on the air. We don't appreciate how great he is. We don't appreciate how great he is. But I said, I'm not putting him above Bill Russell, Wilt, Kareem, especially Kareem. When we talk about the greatest ever, Kareem should be in the conversation. But he never gets mentioned. Kareem should be in the conversation. But also, as much as I love the Joker, you're not going to put him out there against Shaq and Hakeem, are you? Come on, Dan, stop it. He's the best player in the world today. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, Charles, I know this generational stuff is tough, right? I know it's difficult, but Babe Ruth would have sat there watching 100-mile-an-hour fastballs with that big bat, and at some point, Shaq and Michael Jordan are going to generationally be passed by evolution, are they not? At some point?
Not those guys.
Wembanyama,
Babe Ruth might get passed, but Michael Jordan won the slam dunk competition. So if you're good enough to win the slam dunk competition, you're one of the most athletic guys on the planet. Like, yeah, all these guys are athletic. That don't mean that. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he's not overly athletic, is he? But he's right there with the Joker as far as the best player in the world. I mean, I love Shea Gilgeous, but you don't say, wow, he's really, really athletic. Kawhi Leonard, the one day a week he plays, you can't tell me he's overly athletic, but he's going to go down as one of the best players ever. So, and listen, the only question about Victor is his health. You know, Dan, have we ever, and I hate saying this because it sounds stupid, but it's true. These guys who are that tall, have we ever seen any one of them stay really healthy for like 10 years of excellence? I mean, it's such a freak of nature to be that tall. And I love that kid. I hope he's able to stay healthy because he's a great kid.
How was Wilt able to do it?
Well, I think Wilt was only he's closer to Shaq height, like 7 foot, 7'1".
Only?
This guy's 7'5", 7'6".
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say this, and I've said this before. Shaquille O'Neal is the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life. Him being able to play 20 years is one of the greatest accomplishments in sports history. Like me and Kevin McHale used to always say, the first time I met Shaquille, I'm saying, I kind of dude that big, run that fast, and jump that high. But his body to hold up for 20 years, I know at the end he didn't have a lot left, but he had a 10 to 15-year run where he was he could outrun everybody, he could outjump everybody. But man, I hope Victor can stay healthy.
I want to play for you the sound and see if you've gotten any better at saying the name of the two-time NHL champion goalie for the Panthers.
Sergei Bobrovsky.
Well, first of all, let me explain.
Go on.
Hey, Greg Cody, it's good to see you, brother.
Thank you,
Doing
Charles.
great, Greg.
Thank you. I apologize for laughing at you mispronouncing Bobrovsky.
No, hey, that's no big deal. I'm going to explain to you why. Because, when you're going to do a hit on television, you get to the game early. And I'm on spring break at that time. So I was I was already in the Sergei vodka before I got to Bobrovsky.
Nice.
I had already started drinking before the game, Dan. So I was thinking Bobrovsky and Babaki. So that's exactly right. I was already in the vodka already. I'm not gonna go to a hockey game and not drink, Dan.
Yeah, fair enough. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are you going to go to a hockey game and not drink? You're betting the University of Miami and Indiana last night. Did you bet the game, and how much did you win or lose?
I got beat like a drum last night, Dan, and I went. It was a big number too. Because they tricked me. Because I'm gonna tell you what I was thinking. And I made two bets. I went to the sports book and I called my bookie. So I bet big twice. Ooh. So I got my ass kicked twice. I said, man, my Coach Cristobal has done a hell of a job. They got a great defense. Why are they getting 7.5 to 8.5? I think Indiana's going to win the game. But, man, they tricked me into betting on Miami.
On the money line? I mean, you covered. You covered. But what you bet Miami to win? You bet Miami on the money line?
No. I took Indiana. Indiana didn't cover.
Okay. So who tricked you? What happened?
The line said take Indiana because they're not going to blow out Miami. You know, it's the same thing. About 3 weeks ago, I says, I think Indiana's better than Alabama, but they're not going to win by more than a touchdown. But, you know, you're trying to figure all this stuff out. I says, well, I think it's going to be a good game. But why? Because the line dropped from 8.5 to 7.5. Because I played golf yesterday and it was 8.5. By the time I got to the sports book, it was 7.5. I said, oh, man. So I overthought it. I should have gave Coach Cristobal more credit. But, man, you know what? Hey, that's gambling, brother. That's gambling.
Our crew here is a little confused. Mike and Tony are a little confused by what happened to your bet, and we don't understand why you would need to make two bets, why it is you'd go to the sports book and also call your bookie. Is it because you had drinks while you were playing golf?
Sergey Bababka? No, because I was really confident that Indiana was going to – because I said, man, the line should be closer because Miami got a hell of a team and they're playing at home. That's what I was thinking. So I just bet twice. I just bet more. So I didn't bet. I bet twice. I just bet more. And I lost more twice. But I did. The line tricked me. I said, man, they died for us to bet on Miami. Because Miami, to me, they shouldn't have been getting 7.5. I mean, they won all those games. They were playing at home. But they just tricked me, Dan, plain and simple.
It sounds like you're a bad gambler. Who's tricking you? Is your bookie just telling you, no, don't do that? Who's tricking Charles Barkley?
Well, there's no such thing. I tell people there's no such thing as a bad card player because when you go to the casino, if you get good cards, you're a good damn gambler.
Damn right.
I always love when people say, are you a good card player or are you a good gambler? I said, depends on if I win or lose. When the dealer's giving you all these good cards, nobody say, man, you a good gambler. I said, no, the dealer's giving me good cards. And when I call my bookie and I bet when I win, man, I took the right side. When I lose, I took the wrong side. That's gambling, brother.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Should your bookie be trying to talk you out of the bet you're trying to make?
Sure?
Charles, true or false? Shaq still cannot name 3 Pistons.
In fairness to Shaq, the Pistons have only been relevant. No, we've been on TV a long time. The Pistons, number one, great win last night. But they only been relevant. That's like that stupid game we play, Who He Play For.
That game's not stupid. It's an awesome game.
I'm not watching bad teams play, man. Listen, the only player I know on the Washington Wizards is damn Trae Young. And CJ's in Atlanta now. The Sacramento Kings, I know DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and the Murray kid.
Westbrook.
Yeah, I don't watch bad basketball. It makes my head hurt.
So the answer is no. He can't name 3 Pistons.
Oh, let me name something for you, Dan. USF. We just stole y'all coach at Auburn, Coach Galash. I'm happy to have him at Auburn.
And the quarterback.
And the quarterback. Name me another player for USF, Dan, and he's in your damn backyard.
Oh, I watch so many
Dan.
USF games.
I watch so many.
And I'm just
Name a
watching
player.
uniforms. I know.
What? Okay. So you watching uniforms? Okay. I know the quarterback and the coach, and I'm really excited about Coach Galesh. I'm gonna tell you something. One of my great people I admire is Derek. Damn, I forgot his name.
You admire him, though. You admire him, though, Chuck.
Yeah, he's good. I love him.
I got it. Derek Brooks. But I never see Derek Brooks. But I was down in Tampa at John Cooper's fishing tournament about 2 months ago, and I saw Derek Brooks, one of the most amazing men I've ever met in my life. He sends me a text when we get Coach Galesh. He says, "Y'all got a real one, Chuck." And if I get the seal of approval from Derek Brooks, I know we got a great coach coming to Auburn, and I cannot wait to support Coach Galesh.
Charles, Shaq gets mad sometimes on the show, like when you guys are busting balls. Have you ever gotten actually mad?
In a game, he fought Shaq, which is
No, but I'm
crazy.
talking about on the show.
No, dude. The only problem I ever have with Shaq, and he hates Dan. He hates Dan. Y'all know that, right?
Yep.
We've gotten the vibe.
So Shaq is one of those guys, and it's not a good trait. He can dish it out, but he can't take it. And me, if I'm going to dish it out, I got to be able to take it. So I get mad when people are sensitive. You can't give people junk. First of all, that's the best part about playing any type of team sport, especially the NBA. The bus trips, the plane trip, we ride each other unbelievable. But Shaq can dish it out, but he can't take it. That's his only weakness because he's a really, really good dude, but he can't take criticism.
That's why he hates me. Only because I've said I don't understand why he's so sensitive. He's won at life, and I don't understand. You just said something that's harsher criticism than any I've ever leveled at Shaq.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a criticism. You got to be able to take it if you're going to dish it out. I mean, that's just life 101. You can't just give people a hard time and not be able to take it.
Do you have a player right now in the league that you've pissed off the most this year? Because you don't mind pissing people off. Is there an active player right now that you that's on your ledger where I really got this guy angry with something I said?
Well, the guy who hates me is probably Kevin Durant, which is fine. I mean, we don't have to be. I don't have to be friends with any of these guys. You know, Kevin Durant's a great player. He's one of the best scorers ever. You know what's really funny? You said that quote from another guy earlier, and he probably gonna tweet at me because I agreed with what he said. But you know, it's so funny. He hits the game winner against the Suns. He's like, "Yeah, I really want to stick it to the Suns. They threw me away." I'm like, "Dude, we traded 10 draft picks. We gave you $60 million a year, and we got swept in the first round of the playoffs. You want us to keep you around? Like what do you expect? We had to reset." I'm like, wait a minute. They didn't throw you away. We traded 5 or 6 number 1 draft picks. Then you wanted Bradley Beal. We went out and got Bradley Beal. We lost in the first round the first year. The next year with you, we got swept. And then this year, we got a better record than the Rockets, and you still mad? What you mad at? Facts? We're better without you. Don't get mad. Those are just facts.
Watch Inside the NBA. It's the best sports studio show there's ever been, and NBA Saturday primetime on ABC. Chuck, it's always great seeing you. You always.
Hey, Dan, can I say something before we go?
Yeah, but I know what you're gonna. I know what you're gonna say.
I don't know what he's gonna say.
I know what he's gonna say. Yes.
Dan, I'm not gonna say that anymore. Dan, I just want to say this to you, man. You know, when I first met you, I told you what a big fan I was. I said, yo, because I do. I think most of the guys just want to get clicks and just want to be in the limelight and say stupid stuff. I said, Dan, I like you. You and Tim, what is it? Call it show?
A lot of respect for him.
Yes.
I said, you two are my favorite guys because I know when y'all say stuff, that don't mean y'all right. Like, I don't think I'm right all the time, but I ain't never going to say anything to get clicks. So anytime you call me, you stole my girl Leah too, which I'm not happy about. Leah Ball, Bruce Pearl's daughter, who's a Saint. You stole her from me, but I'll forgive you. But I told you, man, I got so much love and admiration for you and Tim Cowlishaw. But I want to say this about you. The best thing you ever did for me was hooking me up with your mom, man. That lady is a saint. We text back and forth all the time. She always, I used to give Ernie a hard time because white people always texting you pictures of their grandkids like you give a damn. I always used to give Ernie a hard time. I said, Ernie, I know your grandkids are cute. Quit sending me pictures. Now I got grandkids. Ernie called me. He says, the white Charles Barkley, I sent his wife, grandpicture kids, it's the greatest thing ever being a grandpa. But your mom, when I go a week without sending pictures of my 2 grandkids, which is the greatest thing ever happened to me, she sends me a text like, I better get a picture soon. So the best thing you ever did for me, Dan, was hooking me up with your mom. That lady is a saint, and she's going to heaven because of you and that fat old daddy of yours.
There it is. I knew that was coming. You said it wasn't coming, and I knew that was coming. You were going to hammer my fat old dad. And evidently you hooked up with my mom, which is not something I knew. Charles, good to see you. Nice to see you, as always, sir. Good to see that smile, and good to see that you're healthy. You're taking care of yourself. Skinny as I've ever seen you.
Hey, Road.co. Road.co. Go get some Zepbound, all you fat people out there. Road.co, Zepbound.
See you later, Charles. Nice
seeing you.
All right,
love you guys. Be safe.
Love you too. So Mike Ryan is back there, and he's hiding in the corner. And the guy that we quoted earlier was Chris Whittingham. He was having trouble with some of the names there because your legends and your heroes are aging. And that's
Derek.
I forgot his name.
One of the great people I admire is Derek.
I didn't want to interrupt the conversation about Derek. What's his name? But I regret not getting to float my all-star replacement idea to Chaz Barkley, which is, by the way, this U.S. versus the world.
What's the idea?
Who cares? What are the stakes for the world? What does the world care? Let's play for all of us against the strange. Here's what we do. The All-Star games, all All-Star games are outmoded. They don't care. Forget it. Instead, one-on-one tournament. Right?
That sucks.
Tony, come on.
That sucks.
You wanted to hate that idea?
King of the court
you
with
wanted
40
to hate
guys?
that
Everybody
idea.
7,
you like it, Tony.
6'11", 7. Wait,
let me get
go
Jokic on Anthony Edwards. I can't move sideways.
You break it up into four categories.
Yep.
You go like 6'11" and above.
Yep.
6'10" to 6'8" and so and on down.
Love
It'd
it.
be great.
No, nobody cares about one-on-one. Here's what you do.
Well, nobody cares about the All-Star game.
Here's what you do. A game of horse. Bring back horse.
All right, it's getting lame.
I'm
down.
down.
I like this. Let's see how lame we can make this.
Let's work through this, Greg. How many people are playing? Is it all the All-Stars trying to make the same shot?
It's one-on-one.
Maybe guys just doing the 3-man weave down the court, Tony.
You
What
create
do you think?
a shot. When I played horse, the go-to shot was you stand behind the basket.
I put it over the top.
And put it right over the top.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Yeah.
My dad used to make that shot a lot in horse.
Yeah, you have to.
And then I became better than him, and then it was easy.
This is a great idea, right, Dan?
Thank you.
Yeah, give me Indiana -7.5. No, what? I should take Miami? What? I don't know which way to go here.
That seems like a lot of points. I'm gonna take Indiana.
How is Miami getting so many
I'm gonna
points?
lay the points.
Give me the Hoosiers.
It's not a terrible idea, but after that particular game, fix the NBA All-Star game is not the topic matter that I really wanted.
That was a head-spinning appearance from Charles Barkley, I have to admit.
Tim Cowlishaw.
Tiene pinta.
It was a stunner, right? It was a stunner in all regards.
So many Tims.
Jeremy was smiling at the Jimmy Butler highlights. I'm just
he was.
We got him.
Jeremy's enjoying the injury.
We got him.
More than anyone here.
That's not what happened.
Super pumped.
That is not what happened at all.
Super pumped.
I'm not super pumped.
You are super
happy.
No,
I'm not.
You are
Absolutely.
so happy.
Tiger Woods fist bump myself.
That's not what happened.
Tiger on 18 in Augusta. That's what's happening inside.
That's not true.
I know it.
You can ask anyone who was in that room last night when I saw I was not excited.
You are psyched.
That's not true.
It's okay to be psyched about that.
No,
Why
it's
was
not.
it okay to be? No, it's not.
Jeremy,
He's
that's
a
okay.
bad guy, and he got what was coming
He
to him.
left
Not
a
at
villain.
all.
That's what you think.
That's not.
He piled his way out of town and left a villain.
I know why you're
not
doing
true. We're
that.
journalists.
You have 3 Emmys. You're on the Heat broadcast. You publicly cannot say that. But I know what's inside of you. And it is pure, unbridled joy that Jimmy Butler tore his ACL. You can shake your head all you want.
Show the fist bump.
You can shake your head all you
Own it.
want. 3 years from now, you're going to be like, you were dead on
Let's
the
show
money.
Jeremy's reaction last night to the injury. It's his fist bump after he did.
I don't think that that's right to do. Mike Ryan has put his name on enjoying that injury, and that's not something that we should be doing.
Right, that's super classless.
You can have that as a private thought. Just don't speak it into a microphone. Keep your
Jeremy
honesties
did.
to
No,
your
I didn't.
Keep your
Why'd you do that, Jeremy?
Come on, you're a good guy. You have a good reputation. I mean, not amongst Miami people, but like everyone knows that you have a good heart. You're entitled to be like super pumped about this.
Yeah. Mike and Tua, too honest.
Unlike you, though, Jeremy.
Mike,
we're all pieces of shit inside. Come on, you're pumped.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are we all pieces of feces inside? I think that's almost literal.
Even Jeremy.
Even Jeremy.
Even Jeremy. You can add that to
Jeremy
it.
really cares about what people think. Trust me,
I
he
do
is
so
pumped.
much. I care so much what people think.
Well, Mike was just informing me before that interview started. He's like, I just can't believe how much a new generation of University of Miami fans hate you. And I'm like, I'm used to this. It's been 30 years I've been doing this with University of Miami fans as people nationally associate me with being too pro-Miami. It's sort of
But those were older heads. Like, for, like, people in their 20s to be like, F Dan Le Batard. It's pretty shocking what's happened. Like, we need to do some fixing there with your reputation because, like, hey,
That's why I was all over the city trying to make Dan's name great again.
I'm trying to help. Like the Pell Grant thing, like that.
I didn't do the Pell Grant thing.
I know, but that was a reputation for you, and like you could always tell, like the certain Miami Hurricanes fan that is always gonna hold that grudge over you.
Lucy, you know about that Pell Grant?
No, but I do have an idea for you. You can just Mark Cuban it and be like, hey, I'm going to give a ton of money to Miami. I'm going to buy you guys a player. Because Mark Cuban did not give any money to Indiana last year, and now he's got this real nice little Indiana.
We paid for Tyler Van Dyke around here. We
got a refund on that. He didn't
I
show up to
can't
highlights.
believe we did that. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Bad business
Like Nick
decision.
Saban tried to steal Tyler Van Dyke. That was a thing.
We have been talking here recently about the number of prayers from Mendoza and others that God and Jesus have been getting here recently. And obviously, our show, able to get Andy Garcia at halftime when I requested Cubanissimo last night, also able to get a direct line to the Lord here.
You know, people think being the Lord and Savior is easy work. But this time of year, my entire day is ground to a halt because of playoff football. JC here. It's just impossible to keep track. Like, look, I have this email from January 7th, 2013. Dear Lord, we've worked tirelessly in your name all season. We're just one game away from our dreams coming true. Please help us keep the Alabama run game in control and emerge healthy and victorious. Love, Manti Te'o, Notre Dame linebacker. Like, I just saw this 6 months ago. Yeah, it's J-Dog. JC. The Redeemer. No, they're both good options. Yeah, no, they're both really good options. It's going to be...
I'm such a big fan. Do you mind if I take a selfie with you, please? No, yeah, I can wait.
Hey, I got to run. Yeah, no, another one. I got to stop going outside. I don't know what I'm doing. When it comes to this game...
Hey, Mr. Christ, do you have the results for the championship game already?
You know, with all the extra work these days, sometimes you just need to relax, unwind, and that's how you get to a decision. You really thought I was going to let my boy Fernando lose?